एक टेस्ट करोगे क्या? मैं ये करना चाहती हूँ कि जब तुम यहाँ बैठ के पढ़ते हो ना राकेश, तो बड़ी मुश्किल हो जाती है ना, तो वो कैच कर लेता है, ये सुनाई देता है, वो सुनाई देता है एंड ऑल दैट। तो मैं सोचती कि तुम यहीं पे बगल में बैठे रहो, राइट? और और क्या कहते हैं, मैं उनको बोल दूंगी कि तुम मेरे साथ हो, जैसे मानसी और वो और श्रेयस भी तो एक ही जगह बैठे होते हैं, राइट? और उन दोनों को पढ़ने का बारी मिलती है। तो तुम यहीं से बैठ के पढ़ लेना, और तुम आप यहीं पे सोफे में बैठ जाना बगल वाले में, और वहां से तुम अपने वहाँ पर डॉक्यूमेंट तुमको दे रखा है, तुम उसको फॉलो करते रहना, उससे पढ़ लेना, राइट? और जब बोलोगे तो तुम वहीं बैठ के बोलना, तो मेरा कंप्यूटर तुम्हारी आवाज को पकड़ लेगा। मैं बस ये टेस्ट करना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि मेरा कंप्यूटर तुम्हारी आवाज को पकड़ता है कि नहीं पकड़ता है। तो अगर तुम आ जाओगे 1 मिनट यहाँ पे बैठ करके जूम कॉल ज्वाइन कर लो, और फिर अपना को म्यूट रख करके बोलो यहाँ पे, तो क्या होता है? आई जस्ट वांट टू चेक दैट आउट कि तुम्हें तुम्हें सुनाई देता है कि नहीं सुनाई देता है ठीक से। कैन वी टेस्ट इट आउट राकेश और नो? अच्छा ठीक है, रहने दो राकेश, 5 मिनट रहते भी क्लास शुरू होने में।
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our Bhakti Vrksa call today. So happy to have you here. And so let me see who all are there on the call. So I see starting from here on my left, I see Sonal Mataji, Sudevi Mataji, Sashi Shekhar Prabhu, and Victoria. Wonderful. I also see Divyangi Devi Dasi representing ISKCON of New York, then Khyati and Neeral. Wonderful. There you see.
Mataji.
And I see Suruchi Mataji, I see Varshana Mataji, I see Preeti Radhika, and on my right is Rakesh Rajput Prabhu. And wonderful. So we have Urmila Bajaj Mataji watching us on Facebook. So let's get started. So tell me, from where do we get started today?
Hare Krishna, everyone.
We get started with Sudevi Mataji, wishing us Hare Krishna to everybody. Thank you, Mataji, for doing that. So should we get started with Bhagavad Gita chapter 8? What do you say?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so I'm going to bring it up. And somebody can give me the reading order. I don't see Suyash Prabhu, our regular reading order maker. So can somebody else pick up the service on
Yeah, I can do, Mataji.
You can do that, Khyati. Thank you so much, Khyati Mataji.
Yeah. And I'm also posting the link for the class in the WhatsApp group as well as here in the chat.
Okay, good.
Suyash Prabhu will also be joining in a few, so keep
Few
him in the
minutes.
order too.
You know that? You are just 10 meters away from him. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. And Hare Krishna, Prasanna Prabhu and Archana Singh Mataji for joining us on Facebook. Good. Good. So yeah, just send us out. We're going to do chapter 3 from the Bhakti Vrksa. And so have that PDF ready as soon as Khyati Mataji sends it out to you. And then we will nail down the order as well, the reading order too.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Varshana Mataji, Dandat Pranam. And what date is it? Okay, hold on for 1 second. Yeah, go ahead. I'll wait for you to give me the give me the reading order, and then I'll say whatever I wanted to say here. All right. Okay, let's go.
I think Divyangi Mataji got dropped off the call.
Divyangi Mataji got dropped off. Okay, you keep the placeholder there, and we will just we'll just take it from there. Yeah.
No, she said she won't read.
Yeah, Suchi, she wrote. Yeah. She just wrote there to say she won't be able to read today.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Good. So how is everybody doing this Saturday? Fantastically wonderful.
Very
And
nice.
Happy Mother's Day, Varshana Mataji.
It starts early for her.
It
Right?
starts in India, so.
There you go. Yep. Okay.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone, in advance.
To everyone else.
Thank you so much, Mataji, and happy Mother's
It's
Day
really
to you all.
wonderful to have association.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
isn't it? Yeah.
showering your mother in love on us. So
There you go. Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to Six Mataji's on the call.
Well, actually, the Mother's Day applies to everybody, irrespective of whether you are a mother or not, whether you are a female or not, right? And I'm not
And-
saying that you are a soul and not the body, but I'm just saying that anybody who's in this planet has got a mother, right? So that's the day that we respect our mothers. So that way, Mother's Day, anybody and everybody can be happy on Mother's Day, like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So happy Mother's Day to
Sorry, I
you.
wasn't politically correct there.
There we go. Yeah. So that is there. And then just one second. Yeah. Okay.
Shraddha, I won't be able to read today, but
Okay.
I'll be listening for sure.
Okay. You'll have to pay the fees then for the course.
I'll be delightful to pay.
10 Bhagavatam.
Oh, dang!
Yeah, Bhakti doesn't come cheap, huh?
I'll have to read them.
Okay, I was just kidding.
The
Okay,
order
so,
is there.
so are we sort of settled? Are we done with the order? Are
So
we
I
okay?
posted the order, but I will just repost it and remove.
That's fine. That's fine.
Preeti Radhika
Preeti
Mataji.
Radhika, we'll just ignore that. Yeah, even if
Yeah,
she.
and then Suyash Prabhu has not joined yet, but I included his name considering.
Okay,
he's
by the
coming.
time we reach, yeah. So then that's good. Preeti, Suyash, and Mansi are there in that bunch, right?
Yeah.
Now that. Okay, good. So I'm just dying to share my screen with you. It looks like, but except for I don't know which screen I should share with you. As usual, I'm on the wrong screen.
Vyapti Panchaka.
Vigyapti Panchaka. Okay, so we'll do the Vigyapti Panchaka, and Vigyapti Panchaka. I brought that up. See, if Suyash doesn't come, it's like my hands are cut. Okay, so let's see. What am I sharing with you all?
Chapter 8.
Chapter 8, right? And I should be sharing Vigyapti Panchaka with you. And Vigyapti Panchaka is actually here. It was open in my, here. This is Vigyapti Panchaka. And I'm sharing it. And do you see the Vigyapti Panchaka?
Yes, Mataji. We
You
see
see
it
that?
now.
Okay, I don't see it though. Okay, here we go. All right, so participants. Okay, let's go. Get going with the prayers here. Om Ajnanatimandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma na paradhi cha kaschana parihare pilachame kim bhuve purushottama yuvati nam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvatau yatha mano bhi ramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai bhumau skalitaka badanam bhumirevaavalambanam त्वयि जातापराधानां त्वमेवा शरणं प्रभु गोविन्दा वल्लभे राधे प्रार्थये त्वामहं सदा Twadiyam iti janatu govindo mam tvaya saha. Radhe Vrindavanadishe Karunamrita Vahini Kripaya Nija Padabcha Dasyam Mayam Pradiyatam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, good time now for reflections. Anything that stuck your mind? And I have muted all of you, but you can unmute yourself. You have that privileges to do that. That way we eliminate any noisy backgrounds. Any words that stuck your mind from what we read?
Matsamonati papatma.
Matsamonasti patapma. And anybody wants to give the translation for that? What is that translation? Mat samo. Samo means same.
Like.
Papatma means like, yeah. Papatma means
Sinful.
sinful. So, yeah, right? Mat means me. Right? Think like there is no sinful soul like me. All right, good. What else? Should we do the translations and then more things will stick?
You sing in a very nice tone.
Okay.
I know when I read Bhagavatam verses, how I sound, and when you sing, how do you sound?
You know what happens with the language? Yeah. So what happens with the language is, first, the moment you get a grasp of the words and familiarity with the words, and you start understanding the words, then the tune will come. Guaranteed it will come, right? Yeah. So that's why we repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat over and over and over, again and again. Yeah. Okay. So translations. Khyati, tell us who goes.
Sonal Mataji. So I will read out the reading order. It is Sonal Mataji, then Sudevi Mataji, Shashi Shekhar Prabhu, Victoria Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Rakesh Prabhu. Sorry, I misspelled the name over there. Divyangi Mataji. Then if Suyash Prabhu and Mansi Mataji joins, otherwise Neeral Prabhu, Khyati Mataji, and Shraddha Mataji.
All right. Okay, so Sonal Mataji has to go in now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And
should I read the translation?
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Okay. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my
Mataji, fit to window.
Yeah, Mataji, if you go to your
yeah. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Just Mataji, second one.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
so that was first and second command. Okay. Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you.
O Srimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants.
O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet.
We can do the next one also, Panchtattva mantra, because I sang it.
I offer my obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi, and all the others in line of devotion.
Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Okay. Yeah, this is known as muscle memory. You know, the tongue has a memory of its own, and it has learned how to vibrate in a particular order like that. Okay, good. So let's, now for reflection.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Very good.
Mataji, you are the only support for those who have offended. So I was thinking, what kind of offense they are talking about, or it's general.
What are the offenses that we do to Krishna? All
So
of them.
there are many aparadh, but
All and any. Yeah, all and any offense that you do. Any offense that you do to Krishna, ultimately Krishna is your support. Now Krishna might give you support through other people. That's a different thing. But the ultimate support is Krishna, right? For every action that a person does, like for example, you did something and you need help, and so somebody else comes and helps you. So that help that other person is giving you, that action has got 5 factors, as Bhagavad Gita tells you, right? And the last is the permitter, which is the super soul. Right? So without the super sanction, it doesn't happen. So even if somebody wants to help you, if Krishna is not giving that sanction, final sign off, then it won't happen. It's like in this song, we are also saying we are submitting a resume, right? That make me your servant. So we can desire as much as we want to do service to Krishna also, but we can't do service to Krishna also unless Krishna agrees to that. So Krishna has to agree. Not a blade of grass moves without Krishna's sanction, right? So that way, he's the ultimate shelter of everything, like that.
Another thought which came to my mind is the English is so simple to understand. It was very easy, but the Sanskrit was so tough. So it was easy to remember the translations than the big tough Sanskrit words.
And that's fine. And that's fine because Krishna understands English also. So if you talk to him in English, it's okay.
Shraddha Mataji, the other thing is also the opposite is also true. If someone doesn't want to help you and Krishna thinks that it has to be done, then anyhow it will happen. Krishna will help you. So the opposite
yes. Yes. Very true. Yeah. Your tongue will slip, and instead of saying I want to give you $100, the person will say I want to give you $1,000, and that's it. The deal is sealed. Krishna will do those tongue slips, right? Can you give me some examples of famous tongue slips that happen in our scriptures?
Kumbhakarna.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. Right? So he does that. He does all. That's why he's known as, he controls your tongue. So if he's controlling your tongue, what is the name of Krishna?
Rishikesha.
Rishikesha. There you go.
What is that instance, Mataji? Could you tell?
The instance
Kumbhakarna, you were saying, she was saying.
Kumbhakarna was doing a lot of penance and practice. And so he wanted to say that I don't want to sleep at all. And instead of that, he said the opposite, that I want to, sleep part of the time. So
You're saying Indrasana and then
he was
became
asking
Nindrasana.
for,
Something.
Indrasan is, give that again. Nidrasan and Indrasan, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Indrasan. He wanted Indrasan, the throne of Indra. And instead of that, he said Nidrasan. Nidra means sleep. And so Saraswati sat on his tongue when he was asking for boon from Brahma. So
yes. So yeah. Yes. Sometimes Krishna will do it, and sometimes Krishna will send his agents like that. Yeah. Indrasan, Nidra.
Nice one. I didn't know that.
So next time.
Rivers flowing like mercy from Srimati Radharani.
River of mercy.
Yeah, and then also there is something known as there is kripa. When you go and ask demigods for things, they give you kripa in 2 forms. One is kapat kripa and other is nishkapat kripa. So sometimes when you go and ask them for extremes of things, like even how Ravana was asking Brahma for all kinds of things. He was putting all kinds of clauses here and there. His mind was raking that, who can kill me, so let me cover this clause. Although Brahma had said that I cannot give you immortality because I myself am not immortal. So he asked them, and then Brahma agrees, but then there was a little bit of a, thing there, because he knew that it is not foolproof. Whatever I'm guaranteeing him is not a foolproof thing. And who was that person who, when I'm forgetting the name of was it Bana, who went to Shivaji and said that, give me the benefit that whoever's head I place my arms is going to die. And on the face, yeah, Bhasmasur, yes. So on the face of it, it looked like that Shivji is so innocent and he's giving Ashutosh, easily surprised, he gave it to him. But ultimately, what happened with that benediction? Bhasmasur died, right? So then they do kripa, but there is a little bit of kapat kripa there, like that, and other is nishkapat kripa. So if you are so it's in the kapat kripa, these kind of things will happen. Indrasan versus nidrasan, your tongue will twist. And but if you are a genuine devotee, and you are praying from your heart, then even if you mispronounce it, Krishna won't do any kapati things with you, because you are not kapati. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Just according to how you are behaving with Krishna, you will get a reciprocal.
Mataji, also I heard this in a lecture. So when your pronunciations go wrong for bhakti related text, it doesn't have that kind of offenses compared to when you are doing karma kanda.
Yes.
And when you're asking, so also like people in China, they are not able to pronounce la, ra, and they pronounce la. They don't say Hare Krishna, they say Hare Krishna, and still they make a lot of spiritual advancement, because Krishna's name is transcendental, is not bound by these material inabilities.
Exactly, and that's why when you're chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, you have. So then, how do we compare that with saying chant properly, right? So the chant properly actually means that you first figure it out, that what language are you chanting it in, right? So you're saying I'm chanting it in Bengali, so it's okay if you say Hore Ramo, it's okay. Right? If you're saying I'm chanting in Hindi, then I will say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If I'm chanting in Sanskrit, I will say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, like that. Right? So you first decide the language in which you are reciting it. And then once you have said the language, then there should not be any mispronunciations. And mispronunciations will come when your mind is going in this direction, mind is going in that direction, then the tongue is going to slip. Right? So if you are saying, if you are sticking to Sanskrit and you're saying I'm saying Hare Krishna, then it should not become Krishna, like that. That should not happen, right? But mistakes in pronunciation because of the language that you are in, the type of body that you are in, it's okay. And the holy name, is so powerful. The famous story where they said that the person was so sinful that he could not even say Ram. And what was he asked to pronounce?
Mara.
Right? And they said, you say Mara very quickly. So try saying Mara quickly. Say that, all of you.
Mara,
or is it Ram? What are you saying? Like that. The holy name is so very powerful. Yeah. Good point. What else?
Mataji, what is the difference between that Sanskrit and Hindi you said?
Sanskrit will end in a slightly bigger A in the end, like Arjun and Arjuna, Ram and Rama, Krishna and Krishna. The Sanskrit lays emphasis on the A in the end.
Thank you, Mataji.
And Hare Krishna Mataji, and while chanting the holy name of the Lord, the bhav should be there, not, it is important to pay attention towards the every syllable, but at the same time, bhav is more important. This is what I feel like.
Exactly. And the bhava comes at a later stage. That feelings and the bhava will come at a later stage. And bhava and prema, right? So there are 9 stages of devotional service. And in the beginning of the stages, when we have, we are doing mistakes and things like that, we are doing aparadhas because of the bad habits that we have. So we might not be able to even bring in that bhava. So at that time, it's like, all right, just chant and hear what you are chanting. Even if it's mechanical. After all, if Mara can become Ram Ram, then, what to talk about practicing with, earn a desire to reach Peace to God.
Thank you.
Welcome. What else? Anything else?
You are the only shelter.
You are the only shelter. Yeah. And anything else?
Give me some service.
Give me some service. Yeah, the resume. You're pushing the resume all the time. Yeah. The service has to be requested, right? And when we are up to it, then they will grant us the service, appropriate service. We have to qualify to do service of their lotus feet.
Please consider me as one of your assistants.
Please consider me as one of your assistants. Yeah, inner circle.
Please.
Mataji, Suyash Prabhu also joined.
Suyash Prabhu joined. Hare Krishna. Suyash Prabhu ki jai. And let us see who else joined us on Facebook. So we have Bhumi Mataji, we have Govindas Prabhu, and Dilip Bhai Prabhu, Patel Prabhu is also watching us, and Mahesh Shraddha Prabhu is also there. Those are the names to all of you. Okay. So what should we do? Khyati Mataji.
Let's start Bhagavad Gita.
You want to do Bhagavad Gita now? All right. So let's go to Bhagavad Gita. And let's share this screen and bring up Bhagavad Gita, which I was so ardent about bringing up. And whose turn is it to read now?
Varshana Mataji's turn.
Right. So what do we do here? Everybody reads one verse, right? That's how we do it? Khyati, how do we do it?
So what did you say, Mataji?
How many does everybody read?
I think everyone we do usual 2 each.
Okay,
right?
okay, then we'll stick with 2 each. Okay.
Yeah. Should I read the order once again?
That will be helpful.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
now it is Varshana Mataji, then it is Rakesh Prabhu, then Divyangi Mataji, Suyash Prabhu, Manasi Mataji, Neeral Prabhu, and then my turn, then Shraddha Mataji. Then we start again. So Sonal Mataji, Sudevi Mataji, Shashi Shekhar Prabhu, and Victoria Mataji, and then Varshana Mataji again.
Okay. So now whose turn is it?
Mine, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Attaining the Supreme. Text 1. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is the material manifestation? What are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Who is the Lord of sacrifice? And how does he live in the body? O Madhusudana. And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Hare Krishna.
Rakesh Prabhu's turn.
Rakesh Prabhu, you just speak and my thing will pick it up. My microphone will pick it up. Yeah.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. Text 4. O best of embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adibhut, the material manifestation, the universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Advait. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Supreme Soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adhyat, the Lord of Sacrifice.
Okay. Who comes next?
Me.
All right, go ahead.
Text 5. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remember me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Text 6. Wherever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, That state he will attain without fail.
Text 7. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. Mansi is not gonna read. Please go ahead.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. One who, at the time of death, fixes his life air between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Person who are learned in Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such a perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. The yogic situation is that of a detachment from all sensual engagement, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart, and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga.
After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. For one who remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service.
After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Text 17. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of life, duration of Krishna. Can't see because of something.
Duration of Brahma's one day.
Yeah. So taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night.
At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living beings,
Entities.
Something wrong.
All living entities.
All living entities become manifest from their unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are all merged into unmanifest again.
Very good, Suraj.
Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, the part remains as it is. That part remains as it is.
That which is the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him.
O best of the Bhartas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from the world, the yogi does or does not come back. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain the Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fairy god in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
You shouldn't pass away at night.
According to the Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when passes in the darkness, he returns. Text 27. Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion.
Text 28. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode.
Hare Krishna. So we finished reading one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And so we have been joined by Charu Mataji, and she says she also wants to read. So Kyati Mataji, you can add her to the reading order. Add her before me. So Charu Mataji, you'll go after Kyati and before me. Like that. Welcome to the call. Happy to have you. Okay. So reflections, chapter 8, Bhagavad Gita. Give me any one word that you remember. You don't have to give me a summary or anything. Just give me precise thing.
I really like this point.
Go ahead.
Adi Bhautik.
Adi Bhautik. Okay, good.
I really like the point that devotees are never bewildered by two paths.
Okay, not bewildered. Very good.
Constantly engage in thinking of me.
Constant thinking. Smaranam. Okay, very good.
The one who remembers me at the time of death, he never comes back.
Wow. Okay, so that's the thing we need to remember, right? Remember to remember Krishna. Okay.
The devotee is not bewildered by this.
Devotees are not bewildered. That is so important, right? Not to get bewildered. Now, have we been talking about someone who's bewildered?
Arjuna.
Arjuna, yes. We have been talking about bewilderment for now days and days and days, right? So he gets so much bewildered. Right, good, good.
Another thing which resonated was a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of any other path.
Now, isn't that a good investment or what?
Yes.
Right? So invest in devotional service to the Lord because you're going to get all the other things. Vedeshu Yageshu. And as our Sachi Shekhar Jani Prabhu was pointing out that when you're doing Karamkhandi activities, you have to be very careful about how you're pronouncing the mantra. So it's Karamkhandi activities involve some expenses. And then even after doing that, if you didn't pronounce the mantras properly, then you don't get the results. But here what he's saying is that, all those results that you would have normally gotten by doing yagyas and things like that, you will get by devotional service. There's a very nice verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita that says that, if you are a devotee of the Lord, if you are a devotee of the Lord, well, if you're not a devotee of the Lord, then easy things become difficult for you. And if you are a devotee of the Lord, then difficult things become easy for you. So the choice is ours, how do you want to lead our lives? Do you want to become devotees and, take the easy path? Or we want to protest and rebel against Krishna and then suffer the consequences like that. We have a free will to do that. Right? Okay. Sonal Mataji, were you saying something? I saw you.
No.
Okay. All right. So should we go to chapter 3 then? Or are there more reflections from chapter 8?
Mataji, Hare Krishna. I like this one.
Yes.
I wasn't there, but I quickly read this one. Text 16, which says that, but one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes the birth again.
Yes.
Somebody may have said that, but I like that.
Well, we all like that. We all like that, isn't it?
All liked it, yeah. The highest planet in the material world down to the lowest. All places are misery, and wherein repeated birth and death.
Yeah, Dukhanayam Ashashvatam. Yes.
Yeah, that one I like it very much.
Good.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, so chapter number 3 is called Consciousness, the Missing Link. And who goes in now after Divyangi, right? Suryash.
Myself, Mataji.
Yeah, please go. Give us, everybody read one paragraph.
Mataji, could you just remind what we covered last class so that we understand the continuity?
Okay, can somebody remind what we did last time?
Happiness, Mataji.
We did happiness. Okay, good. And before that, what did we do?
Mantra meditation.
Mantra meditation.
The mantra meditation, happiness, and then consciousness. Okay. So, Devi, you are keeping all these things with you, right? The documents that we sent to you. You keeping
Yes,
them?
Mataji.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Because you might want to go back and refer to them. Yeah. All right. Get going. So, yes,
Chapter 3, Consciousness, the Missing Link. Who am I? Am I this body or the mind? Or am I something higher? Am I an American, Australian, Indian, or African? Does it really matter? When asked, who are you? Most people will reply with their name. If your name is changed, will you change? If not, then who are you? Others may reply by showing their photograph. However, the facial features keep changing throughout our lives. And in an extreme case, if the face is changed with plastic surgery, will you change? The purpose of life is to find happiness. In order for me to be happy, it is imperative that I seek the answer to the question, who am I?
All spiritual culture and traditions of the world have encouraged this inquiry and to search for an answer within. The Bhagavad Gita, one of the most ancient books of spiritual wisdom from the East, explains that we are not this body, but the Atma, spirit soul. The Atma is a spark of life force that activates the body. The body can be compared to a car and the soul to the driver of the car. Without a driver, the car cannot move by itself. Similarly, body cannot function without the presence of a spirit soul.
Someone may ask, has anyone seen the soul? According to Gita, a soul is indestructible, individual, and changes bodies. It has a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. The soul is situated in the region of the heart, and thus all the energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body. The corpuscles which carry the oxygen from the lungs gather energy from the soul. When the soul passes away from this position, activity of the blood generating fusion ceases. The Upanishad that say that the size of a soul is estimated to be 1 upon 100, 1 upon 10,000, the tip of the hair. Hence, it is infinitesimally small and thus inconceivable. Some differences between matter and spirit are, I think next person can read.
Hare Krishna, this is Charu after Khyati Mataji, correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Matter is formless while spirit matter is formless while spirit gives form to matter. Matter is dead while spirit soul is conscious. Matter is perishable while spirit is imperishable. Matter undergoes transformation while the spirit soul does not undergo any transformation. Due to its spiritual nature, the soul cannot be seen by the limited range of vision provided by our eyes, made up of matter. However, the existence of soul cannot be perceived in many ways.
Can be perceived. The existence of the soul can be perceived in many ways. Okay.
Oh, can be. Oh, existence of soul can be perceived.
Can be perceived.
Many
Yeah.
ways.
And let's look at those ways in which you can.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay.
Who's next?
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I'm next. All right. Common sense. We get an indication that the self is different from the body when we attend a funeral. We may see a crying widow grieving. He's gone. My husband is gone. She says that her husband is gone. Yet the body is lying there, looking much the same as it did a few days ago, before. Who is gone at death? It is the real person, the self, who is different from the body it animates. That goes away.
Intuitive understanding. By thoughtful self-observation, we can become aware of the existence of the self beyond the body. For example, we don't think of our foot or head or any part of our body as me, but as my foot, my head, my body. Then who am I? Who is that self, myself, beyond the body and beyond even the mind? That is the soul.
So we'll stop here for a moment and we'll do a quick exercise. And for whoever it is possible to switch on their videos, please switch on your videos. Right? Because I need to see what you're doing. And I'm seeing what Rakesh Prabhu is doing here. Okay, so let's get steady. Sit down, sit up straight and take a deep breath and touch your nose. Okay, touch your ear. Very quickly, touch your hand. Quick, give me a quick response. Touch your hand. You know your hand, right? Okay, touch your eyes. Touch your shoulder. Touch your back. Touch your hair. Touch your knee. Touch your leg. Touch your finger. Touch your thumb. Touch your palm. Touch your wrist. Touch yourself. Where are you going to touch? Who is that? That is you, right? Okay, now let's go further. Sharing the screen again, and hopefully I'll be able to retrieve the document we were reading. Okay, here we go. Whose turn is it now?
Sudevi.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji. Suraj will read. Consciousness.
Consciousness. Subtle objects can be perceived by their symptoms. For example, one cannot see air, but it can be perceived through its symptom of blowing wind. One cannot see intelligence, but it can perceive by giving the
IQ test.
The IQ test. Similarly, the symptom of existence in our soul is consciousness. Consciousness from the soul pervades throughout the body. The body appears alive, just like the sun spreads heat and the light all around. The soul spreads consciousness all around the body, from the tip of the toes and fingers to the top of the head. It is consciousness that enables.
Read it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought that was.
It is consciousness that enables
us to think, move on,
feel, think, feel,
move on, so on. Thus, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. The consciousness is what distinguishes a dead body from a living one. Now, when an iPod plays music, it feels no emotions.
However,
a singer undergoes several emotions while singing. This is consciousness, the ability to be aware of one's existence, to think and to feel and to will. As Thomas Huxley said, there is a third thing in the universe, to wit, consciousness. which I cannot see the matter or force. Consciousness gives the proof of the soul.
Thank you, Suraj.
Suraj Prabhu, you are reading very difficult words so nicely.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Changing body. You want to read? Go. It's your turn. Sorry.
Sister, we had a body which was 3 years old. If we show someone our photograph when we were 3 years old, they will most likely not be able to recognize us from then. Our body has changed since then. Our mind has changed since then. Our intelligence has changed since then. However, the person within the experiencer remains unchanged. This indicates that we, the experiencer, are different from our body, mind, or intellect. The Gita explains Dehinosmin yatha dehe kamaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dirastatra namuyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change.
Near-death experience, NDE, and out-of-the-body experience, OBE. NDEs, as the name suggests, involve people who have close call with death. Many people having NDEs also have OBEs, in which out-of-the-body experiences, OBEs, in which they report observing their physical body and events relating to it from a perspective outside the body during severe illness or physical trauma resulting in unconsciousness. A typical case might involve a person who is resuscitated from a heart attack and reports that he observed from a point outside his body. The medical personnel endeavoring to revive him. At such times, according to standard medical opinion, the normal functioning of the brain, as indicated by certain brain waves, is impaired, and the patient should be unconscious. If indeed consciousness is manifestation of the brain, the book Into the Unknown, published by the Reader's Digest, even gives evidence of people who had OBEs or out-of-body experiences. Such people who could perform OBE were made to lie on a bed closing their eyes, go out of the body, observe the different types of objects like triangular prism, rectangular, circular plates kept on the loft. Again, return into the body and draw the objects that they saw on the loft on a sheet of paper. Such drawings perfectly matched with the objects kept high up on the loft that no one could observe from the ground level. This is called OBE, or out-of-body experience. There is enough research work in NDE and OBE presented by individuals with impeccable scientific credentials. For example, Dr. Michael B. Sabom, a cardiologist and professor of the Emory University Medical School, was openly skeptical of NDEs but changed his mind after investigating them.
Past life memories. Righteous, unbiased studies have been carried out by serious researchers on past life memories. Len Stevenson, Kerrison, professor of psychiatry at the University of Virginia, has extensively investigated spontaneous reincarnation memories recounted by children. In such cases, he has been able to positively corroborate what the child has claimed by thoroughly investigating details of the place and the people they describe, including the dead person they claim to have been. Stevenson has assembled numerous accounts of over 3,000 cases of reincarnation and verified them, always taking great care of the screen out of fabrications. His studies give convincing evidence that the conscious self can travel from the physical body to the next. Clearly, when the body dies, the contents of its brain are destroyed, and there is no physical process by which they can influence the content of other brain. The logical interpretation is that the conscious self must be an entity distinct from the brain. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Let's continue reading on. Yeah. From application.
Application. 5. Are we giving importance to satisfy our real self, the soul, apart from taking care of the body? If not, how can we take care of our soul in our daily life?
Yeah, so this is something that we need to think about, right? But just continue. Yeah, we'll continue and we'll discuss that. Just continue till this much.
The past life memories of an ex-pilot, James
Leininger.
Could a little boy be proof of reincarnation? ABC News, June 30, 2005. Next 6 decades ago, a 21-year-old Navy fighter pilot on a mission over the Pacific was shot down by Japanese artillery. His name might have been forgotten, were it not for 6-year-old James Leininger.
Divyangi, do we still have Divyangi? Because she's on the East Coast. It's pretty.
Yeah.
Still there? Wow. Yeah.
Quite a few people, including those who knew the fighter pilot, think James is the pilot reincarnated. James' parents, Andrea and Bruce, a highly educated modern couple, say they are probably the people least likely to have a scenario like this pop up in their lives. But over time, they have become convinced their little son has had a former life.
From an early age, James would play with nothing else but planes, his parents say. But when he was 2, they said the planes their son loved began to give him regular nightmares. I would wake him up and he would be screaming. Andrea told ABC News, Chris Kumo. She said when she asked her son what he was dreaming about, he would say, airplane crash on fire, little man can't get out.
After Suyash.
Reality check. Andrea says her mom was the first to suggest James was remembering a past life. At first, Andrea says she was doubtful. James was only watching kids shows, his parents say, and they weren't watching World War II documentaries or conversing about military history. But as time went by, Andrea began to wonder what to believe. In one video of James at 3, he goes over a plane as if he's doing a pre-flight check.
Another time, Andrea said she bought him a toy plane and pointed out what appeared to be a bomb on its underside. She says James corrected her and told her it was a drop tank. I would never heard of a drop tank, she said. I didn't know what a drop tank was.
Then James' violent nightmares got worse, occurring 3 and 4 times a week. Andrea's mother suggested she took into the work of counselor and therapist Carol Bowman, who believes that the dead sometimes can be reborn.
With guidance from Bowman, they began to encourage James to share his memories, and immediately, Andrea says, the nightmares started become less frequent. James was also becoming more articulate about his apparent past, she said.
Bowman said James was at the age when former lives are most easily recalled. They haven't had the cultural conditioning, the layering over the experience in this life, so the memories can percolate up more easily, she said.
Who's next after
Sudevi.
Yeah, Mataji. Trail of mysteries. Over time, James' parents say he revealed extraordinary details about the life of a former fighter pilot. Mostly at bedtime, when he was drowsy, they say James told them his plane had been hit by the Japanese and crashed. Andrea says James told his father he flew a Corsair and then told her they used to get flat tires all the time. In fact, historians and pilots agree that the plane's tires took a lot of punishment on landing. But that's a fact that could easily be found in books or on television.
Andrea says James also told his father the name of the boat he took off from, Natoma, and the name of someone he flew with, Jack Larson. After some research, Bruce discovered both the Natoma and Jack Larson were real. The Natoma Bay was a small aircraft carrier in the Pacific, and Larson is living in Arkansas. It was like holy mackerel, Bruce said. You could have poured my brains out of my ears. I just couldn't believe it.
James 2 equals James M. Huston Jr. Bruce became obsessed searching the internet, combing through military records and interviewing men who served aboard the Natoma Bay. He said James told him he had been shot down at Iwo Jima. James had always begun singing his crayon drawings James 3, signing his crayon drawings James 3. Bruce soon learned that the only pilot from the squadron killed at Iwo Jima was James M. Huston Jr. Bruce says James also told him his plane had sustained a direct hit on the engine. Ralph Klarber, a rear gunner on the U.S. airplane that flew off the Natoma Bay, says his plane was right next to one flown by James M. Huston Jr. during a raid near Iwo Jima on March 3, 1945. Klarber said he saw Huston's plane struck by an anti-aircraft fire. I would say he was hit head-on right in the middle of the engine, he said.
Treasured mementos. Bruce says he now believes his son had a past life in which he was a James M. Houston Jr. He came back because he wasn't finished with something. The Lineagers wrote a letter to Houston's sister, Annie Barron, about their little boy. And now she believes it as well. The child was so convincing in coming up with all the things that there is no way on the world he could know, she said.
But Professor Paul Kulz of the State University of New York at Buffalo, who heads an organization that investigates claims of the paranormal, say he thinks parents are self-deceived. They are fascinated by the mysterious and they build up a fairy tale, he said.
James Vivid, alleged recollections are starting to fade as he gets older, but among his prized possessions remain two haunting presents sent to him by Barron: a bust of George Washington and a model of a Corsair aircraft. They were among the personal effects of James Huston, sent home after the war.
He appears to have experienced something that I don't think is unique, but the way it's being revealed is quite astounding, Bruce said. Asked if the idea that James may have been someone else changes his or his wife's feeling about their son. Bruce said, "It doesn't change how we think. I don't look at him and say, 'That's not my boy. That's my boy.'"
Okay, good. So today was a really long reading. So any of you had a desire to read, I hope to be satisfied. It was unusually long. So what did we talk about?
Aham Brahmasmi.
Aham Brahmasmi. Okay.
About consciousness.
talked about reincarnation, out of body experiences, and OBEs and NDEs, and an example, a wonderful example of this boy James, who was also James in past life. So yeah, also there is plenty of examples like this where people had past life experiences. I'm sure people in India might have heard, but also people. This is my first time looking at an example in America of someone having this past life experience.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question of Victoria. I mean, we have all of us, most of us have grown up in India, and so every now and then you hear about, this one is an incarnation, this one had a past life, and things like that. But Victoria, you didn't hear much about incarnation, or did you have a chance? Did you ever come across anybody?
Growing up, we were never exposed to it. I didn't learn about, of course, reincarnation and having a past life until I came to Krishna consciousness. It was not ever explained to me.
Yes.
Actually, the first lecture that she had, the entire lecture that she had heard, it was by we were listening to it together. It was her first lecture that she was hearing. It was Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's talk on this topic itself,
Well,
where he was explaining
about
the topics of I showed an example where I'm sure a lot of us might have heard in so many books by Radhashyam Prabhu as well, where he talks about there was a girl who was born in one of the villages, and then she goes to her village, and she sees her husband, and immediately gets shy, seeing her husband, and so those kind of things are.
Yeah. This book, I think, is called Demystifying Reincarnation, and he does a very nice study of that, and giving sufficient proofs as to now why it's not a rigged up thing that people are doing. Yeah. And then so reincarnation always holds a lot of fascination for all of us, and the reason for that is that that we forget our previous birth. So if somebody remembers that, it's like, oh wow, right? I mean, we are reincarnating all the time. And the text today also alluded a little bit to that, right? So at one point in time, we were a 3-year-old, and now we are, many decades older. And so the soul has migrated from one body to another body. But here we, sort of still remember the past, like, hopefully, right? But not that much, but we still remember. The thing is that in the real rebirth kind of a case, we forget the past, and it is for our good, right? That we forget our past lives.
Yeah.
Mataji, if it is for our good, then what is the fault of person who remembers? Like, why this? I'm kind of why this? Aberration from normal, that someone gets remembers their past life. Why? Like, is this like a mistake that happened by that? Okay, this one is like one in 1 million that remembers. Is that a mistake? You know what I mean?
No, it's not a mistake. And Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says that when the attachments are very strong, extremely strong, then the memories, manifest themselves. The memory is always there. It never gets wiped out. Because that's how sanskaras are created, right? From all the records of all the lives that there is recorded in our memory, in the subtle body. And the subtle body just leaves and gets into another gross body. Now, depending on the attachments that we had for people in our previous birth, we will recall some of them.
Yeah.
And then you see in the case of James over here that he was attached to that life. So he's talking about that, but then over a period of time he gets attached to Brian and Andrea, his parents in this life. So those memories are fading.
Also from that lecture, I remember how Chaitanya, like, after you said that point, I also got reminded of the point where people get birthmarks. Like if someone is severely burned or something in their last life, they get, when their birthmarks, they call it birthmarks, that it was.
Exactly.
And I've seen it personally, like someone having like crazy birthmark as when they're born, like really, it looks like they were burned by something. There was a there was a kid in my school. We all thought that he was burned, but he was never burned. He said, I was born like this.
Yeah, he was born like that because that impression is there in the subtle body. And depending on what the state of the subtle body is, the gross body manifests like that. So if that trauma was too much of getting burned, like on the forehead or something like that, then, he will be born with a black hair still.
Yeah, his entire, so he used to look very scary. He was a very good guy. He was a great guy. He's still on my Facebook. His name is Mayank Sancheti. But he used to look very scary, and people used to be, driven. His kids used to be scared of him. But, he was, eventually everyone figured out what a great guy he is. So we became friends. But he had like half of his face, more than half of his face, like, and he didn't have hair in some part, like as if someone literally pours. Because once when I was a kid, my brother poured tea in my head, and hair never came back from there. So no, they don't. They became gray, but it was like that.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Ma.
Yeah. Tell us.
I wanted to add this. This is a very intriguing topic, and I used to always struggle with this. Like, how come some people take to Krishna consciousness like so easily? Because when you become a devotee and you enjoy that bliss, and you're in that bliss, like just like you mentioned, that for a devotee, difficult things become simple, and a non-devotee, it's the vice versa, right? So, like my best friend, very very intelligent. She's a VP of a company now. We did engineering together and very very super smart, but she would ask so many questions and I'll be like, oh my god, how are you coming up with this so many questions, like so many doubts? So that explains, like some people, like they will have no question, no doubt, they just take to it like so easy because those are impressions from the previous lives and previous births, and you can see that like the way they take on to the process and the scriptures, it's just so comes naturally. Like they're sometimes they're just born like we'll say Vaisheshika Prabhu, when he was a teenager, he was doing austerities without any guidance. So that tells you that yes, that person has been a yogi from many many births.
Exactly. And then you also see how Krishna makes difficult things easy. He was not born in a so-called devotee family. He was born in an American family, right? And then when he decides and says, I want to go and live in the temple, voila, the parents agree. The parent agrees to that kind of a thing. So all the Krishna, Rishikesh, controls the mind of the parents, that they did not protest at that time. So it'll happen. Yeah. So talking about remembering things from the past, any example comes from scriptures? So somebody who remembered their past?
Jada Bharat. Jada Bharat.
Jada Bharat.
And yes, very good. And
Krishna says that many births you have taken. I remember all of them. You don't remember.
You don't remember any.
And Krishna also says, from me comes the remembrance and forgetfulness.
Yes, sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto, matta smriti, remembrance, jnanam, knowledge, apunam, forgetfulness. Right. But again, so only Jada Bharat remembered his previous life?
Gajendra, yes.
At the last moment he remembers, yes. Last moment he remembers that he was a devotee, and the prayers come back to him at the end. Yeah, yeah. Also, when King Bharat, being too much attached to the deer, gets the body of a deer, it was Krishna's mercy to him that he remembers his previous life. And that's why he refused to drink the milk and gave up the deer's body very soon, like that. In that body, and then that gets born as Jada Bharat. So he remembers that also.
Narad Muni.
Narad Muni, there you go. Right? So people,
to a certain extent, Putna, right? That she says, like when she's dying, that I had this desire in my previous birth.
There you go. So at some points in times, these memories will come back, and they say that when we die, our whole life kind of like spins in front of our eyes, like a quick screenshots in front of our eyes, and so you see the whole life, what you did, like that. And then so that movie can go slide back a little further, and you can bring in a certain thing from the previous birth also, like, okay, that is what happened, and so now I'm doing here, like that.
Mataji, I also read somewhere, don't remember exactly the name of the book, but it said that when I was doing my MSc in psychotherapy, that time I read it. Mataji, a mother gives birth to 2 sons, and both children are different. Now these 2 children are different in their habits, so it is said that it is the previous birth's impressions in the mind, and this is how the child behaves in his childhood. Of course, with the association in this life, the child starts changing, but the memories are there in the mind of the child impressions are there which carry on. That is how two children looked after by the same mother are different.
Exactly. And there's a saying in India, and I will translate that for you, Victoria, that when a person behaves, either behaves very nicely or behaves very badly, either of the cases, we will ask him, "Kis chakki ka aata khate ho?" Which means that from which flour mill are you getting your bread made, right? So, and what they're saying is that, you are what you eat, right? But the thing is that if there are two kids in the family, they are eating definitely from the same flour mill, right? And they're eating cooked, prepared with the same consciousness, but they will exhibit a different consciousness depending on, as Bashana Mataji pointed out, previous impressions, like that.
That is so true, Mataji. I have actually current clients, mother, father, same, twins, two brothers born at the same time. And I'm recently meeting with them back and forth. And one son has autism and one is completely normal. And they don't look alike. In generally speaking, they kind of look alike, but they don't look alike. And their behavior pattern and the whole thing is completely different. Live. And that's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
See, I really like this in the in the whole reading. Matter is formless while the spirit gives form to matter.
I liked it a lot too.
Matter is dead while spirit soul is conscious.
Yeah.
Matter is perishable while spirit is imperishable. Matter undergoes transformation while the spirit soul does not undergo any
transformation. Yeah.
Mataji, one line was there that he had some task unfinished or something like that. So is it true, Mataji, that they have something unfinished?
Where did we read about? Give me a little bit more context there, Devi.
About the past life, that James thing. So I think
yes.
Okay, give us an example. Give us an example, a very famous example from Shastra, where somebody had something unfinished and then it came back again.
Shikhandi.
Shikhandi, there you go. Such a famous example of rebirth. So what was the unfinished task?
Revenge. Vengeance.
Revenge. Against whom?
Bhishpitama.
Bhishpitama, right? So when the desires are so strong and the unfinished business is so strong, the desire to complete and finish the business is so strong, they will come back. So Shikhandi, he comes back. Ambika, I think was the name of the lady. She comes back.
Amba
comes back. Yeah, Ambika, Ambalika, there were three. I always get confused. But the idea is, the sense is that, one of them had strong desire to take revenge and kill him. Because she was giving up her own life. I said, okay, I'll be the cause of your death. You are the cause of my death. I will be the cause of your death. So the good news is that, just as bad things get carried forward in the next life, good things also get carried forward to the next life. And which is what we are reading, almost about to reach in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Right? So now, so we talked a lot about reincarnation, because that's a very esoteric topic and it's interesting, to see that. But it's not a big deal, is it? Is reincarnation a big deal? We all have been reincarnating millions of times. And I was saying it's good that we forget. It's good that we forget, because if we remember all our past births, it will be very difficult for us to relate with people who are around you. Because then you will remember that, oh, this person, he did this thing to me in the previous birth, and he's the one who set the fire. If you are working in a noisy environment, please mute yourself, because we are recording this call. And so that's how it is. Tatha dehant, what is it, that verse that Victoria said, right? Kamaram yavanam jara tatha dehantar praptis dhirastasana muhyati. So we don't get bewildered, because throughout our life we are changing our bodies. And then the text today said that although from a 3-year-old body you go into 60-year-old body, the thing that is inside you does not change, right? It doesn't change, and that is what the soul is. So now my question to you is that we have heard and read, okay, and there were evidences given that there is the existence of a soul, and we know that we are a soul and we are not the body. But how many of you think, or at least we feel or experience that we are the body? How many of you still experience?
All.
Mataji, just now you said touch yourself. so I was thinking I am here. I'm what I have to supposed to be touching. So I think I am still in bodily consciousness because I'm thinking that I'm this body. That's why where to touch.
Yeah, if someone comes and pinches you, you'll say, ouch, right? Yeah. Right? Because the body is feeling it, because I think I'm the body. So, I'm that, like that. So what are we supposed to do? If you think that, like philosophically, we have understood, right? From today's chapter, and of course, from before also, we all understand that. Philosophically, we know that we are not the body. We are the soul. But how am I supposed to behave? If somebody just comes and, drives and cuts off my ears, I should not protest, saying like, take it away. I'm not the body. And not react to it. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to handle that?
We should protect our bodies so that we can use it in Krishna service.
There you go. So when we say that you should make it a habit to understand that you are the body, you are the soul and you're not the body, we are not saying that you neglect your body. We are not saying that. We are just saying that you start to live like a soul. Now you understand what is a soul, right? Soul is this small, it cannot be perished, does not die, cannot be made wet, cannot be cut into pieces, will not wither, you cannot dry it, and so on and so forth. Nothing is going to happen to your soul, which makes you, and if you then philosophically understand that I am the soul, I am not the body, then half of the problems of our life will go away, which have to do with relationships, right? We always think that, this person has got a better car, this person is more beautiful than me, this person is more intelligent, and then this person said this thing to me or did not do this thing to me. And when you see that everything is happening on a material plane, so philosophically we can understand that. And then, but the practical aspect of it is that, you have to live like a soul. So if you say, okay, now I've understood it's a soul, then I will not react. It'll take a lot of practice not to do that. But what am I supposed to do? Now that I know that I'm the soul and I'm not this body, what am I supposed to do? And as Victoria Mataji pointed out, that, we have to understand that if I'm a soul, what is a soul supposed to do? For example, like you are an engineer, software engineer, or you are a teacher in a school. And so for Sonal Mataji, if the letter comes and says, Sonal Mataji, you are being made the headmistress of your school. Then the first question she'll ask is, what am I supposed to do? Right? If you got promoted, you become a manager, you'll say, okay, give me the job description. What am I supposed to do? So if we have told in this particular chapter that you are the soul and you are not the body, then tell me, what am I supposed to do? That will take you back into the question of, okay, now I want to understand what the soul is, right? And what the soul's, job description is. So what is the soul's job description? What is the soul supposed to do?
Serve
Super
Krishna.
Yes, the soul is the eternal servant of Krishna. Right? So I have to live in that consciousness. I have to live my life in that consciousness that I am a servant of the Lord. And
there was one sentence that said that consciousness is the symptom of the soul.
Yeah. And then how do we change our consciousness? We make it Krishna conscious.
Conscious, yeah.
Right? A consciousness should become Krishna conscious, right? And let's look at this. I'm just going to quickly bring up a verse from Bhagavad Gita. And I'm going to share that with you. And I'll just bring in the translation. Okay? Because always the question is that if I'm a soul, show me the soul. Right? Where is the soul? How do I understand that? How I'm going to get to see the soul. Okay? So let's see what Bhagavad Gita tells us. And let me start sharing the screen with you all. I lost my Zoom. Okay, here we go. Share the screen. Bhagavad Gita. Hopefully this is Bhagavad Gita. So this is from the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and this is verse 23 and 22, 23. And we have already done that as part of our Bhagavad Gita classes, but still, nevertheless. So whose turn is it to read it next?
My Prabhu's.
I'll read, Mataji.
All righty, go ahead.
In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact.
All right. So it is telling you that how you are able to see, right? See the self with a pure mind, relish and rejoice in the self in that joyous state, right? And then you have got freedom from all miseries, right? All that is happening. And you're thinking there's no better gain. Is there any other verse in Bhagavad Gita that talks about that? About what happens when a person realizes that he's a soul? Krishna tells to Arjuna this.
He sees all with an equal mind.
Yes, he will start seeing everybody with an equal mind when he realizes that he's a soul. But what about the happiness part? I'm looking for the happiness part. Yeah. Can I switch on the light? I'm getting less light to see this screen. Brahma Bhuta Prasann Atma Na Shochati Na Kankshati. Right? Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Praman. Right? So here it is saying that you will be able to see your soul. So let us see how this process of seeing operates. Okay, so we'll do a small exercise here. And again, if you have stepped outside of the camera, please come back into the camera because I want to see you all. Okay, Varchana Mataji, can we see you? Suryash is there. Preeti cannot come. That's fine. Okay. Rakesh Prabhu has also joined the camera. Okay, Suchi can't and Preeti today can't do that. So they're in a different place. Okay, so I'll be satisfied with whatever faces I'm seeing right now. So I want you to close your eyes and take, when I say inhale, you take a deep breath in. And when I say exhale, you exhale out. Okay? We'll do that 3 times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Do not move. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your palms of your hands on your lap. Relax and take a deep breath in again. With your eyes closed, remember, with your eyes closed, you look ahead of you. You won't be able to, quote unquote, see something as we understand the meaning of seeing, which means that you won't be able to see the screen that you were looking at all along. Okay? But what I want you to do is look at what you are seeing. It might be something not very clear. It could even be something black and white. It could have some colors, that's fine. We are not bothered about that. Right? Now, if you're not able to see anything, then try to see the picture of someone you love or something that you like or something that you like to eat or something that you like to possess. Look at that. Let it take a form. You are seeing that now. I want you to take a step backwards and then try to see that these pictures that you are seeing as if they were in a movie screen, movie theater, or a television screen, these things, try to now also see and look at the person who is seeing all this. Take a step back and try to see the person who is seeing all this. And you will notice that as soon as you take a step back, the person who was seeing it also takes a step back. The reason is that they are one and the same. You and the seer of that thing are one and the same. So in this exercise of trying to take a step back and trying to see who is seeing, actually you are trying to see what you are seeing with. You're trying to see what you're seeing with, which is the soul. So what is happening is that obviously you're not capturing things from outside the world because your eyes are closed. But yet somewhere there appears to be a screen inside you. And on that screen, you were seeing the images of your loved one or your car or your friend or a samosa or a gulab jamun or whatever. So there is some screen on which these images were being projected. That screen is your mind. And the one who is seeing is you. Now, I want you to take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Now I want you to slowly open your eyes and pick up any object which is close to you and look at it. Now the object that you are looking at, open your eyes and pick up any object, a pen, a copy, or a book, and show that object, wave it in the air to me so that I can know what you are looking at. And those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you can do this practice at home as well. Okay, can you wave and show me what you're looking at? All right, okay, good. Okay. So what happens with perception as we see, and we have been talking a lot about seeing in the chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? So what happens with perception is that when you look at something, you picked up a pen, right? So your eyes had captured that information and projected that thing on your mind, and the soul saw it. but it happens so fast and so quickly that we are not able to distinguish between the screen and the seer and the outside world, right? It's not that you're seeing that, okay, this is a pen and here is the picture of the pen in my mind. You're not seeing that. So all these things get amalgamated. The outside world and your mind and the soul, they kind of become one. We're not able to distinguish that. But so that's why we have to read the Sankhya Yoga to know they are different, like that, right? So what happens is that as long as we dabble with the material world, the kind of things that will be in your mind will, in your desires, right? They will show up on your screen. So one way is to close your eyes from the material world, right? More than half of the thing, 80%, 90% of the things, maybe whatever percentage, you won't see them. So don't show me a rasgulla, I'm good. But there is something worse than that, and those are our samskaras. So when we can think of a rasgulla, and the picture of the rasgulla appears in the mind, right? So mind is kind of like a mirror. Eyes catch something from there, and it, you see it over there. You think about something, you see it on that screen, right? So it is a screen, and it appears as if, like a television screen is there in your home, right? It stays silent, and then something is projected on the screen through your cable. And then you start seeing those things on the television, right? So as long as we have got all these material desires, then our screen on the mind will continue to just show you whatever you're throwing at it. It'll behave like a television. But the mind is actually a mirror, and which is covered by the dust. And because of that, you're not able to see the soul, because you are the soul. So you should be able to see yourself in the mirror of the mind. But the mind has got to be cheto darpana marjanam. It has got to be a clean mind. It's got to be clean and devoid of all the material desires. And how will that happen? Through devotional service. Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhakti uttama. So as you continue to do devotional service, then these layers that are there on our mirror will go away. And that is what this verse from the Bhagavad Gita is telling us. So let's go back and visit this verse now that you have gone through this experience here. Let's share the screen and see what this verse is saying. It's saying, in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities. How? 6th chapter, practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability. So this is a perfect state we are talking about. Brahmabhuta, characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind. So when the mind is pure, then the self, you will be able to see it there. And once you see it, Bhagavad Gita is telling you that you will relish and you will rejoice in that self. And once you reach that joyous state, you will say, this is complete happiness. Your senses will become transcendental. Iha yassa harer dase karmana manasa gira niklav aspriya avastatum jivan mukta sa uchyate. You'll reach the state that you'll be still in this body. People might think that you're in a material body, but no, your body is actually transcendental. And once you are there, once you reach the state, then you never depart from the truth. Now, isn't that wonderful? Because here we have Arjuna having doubts after doubts after doubts. But here it's like, no, I have found it. This is it. And then you will think that upon gaining this, you think that there is no greater gain. And being situated in that position, one is never shaken. Why would one be shaken? Why should I be shaken? Because always I'm shaken because of things to do with my body, right? So even in the midst of the greatest difficulty, we will reach that particular stage. And so it's a practice that we do. So it's a constant practice that we'll do. And as long as, we don't have that, we can understand through the Shastras. So till such time as our mind has been clarified and cleansed of whatever dirt has been accumulated in the mind from ages and ages and ages, like that. So once that, till that dust is being removed, and it takes a very long time. Anartha Nivritti in the devotional service is the longest stage. Anartha Nivritti, to get over the dust, is a lot of cleaning and cleaning and cleaning to be done, right? And so as long as that is not there, if I want to still see myself, right, what is the self? You want to know about the Shastras, then you know about the soul, the Atma, then you can use the Shastra. You can use the Shastra, the scriptures, as the mirror. That the scriptures show you, and philosophically you understand that that is what the soul is. And then continue to do our practice of cleaning and cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, like that. And then we'll be able to see the soul, which is, there. We have sufficient evidence that we are the soul, right? We read the chapter number 3, like that. Okay, so it's past 7:30 now. And we have to call it a day here, but maybe a last few reflections, comments, like that.
Hare Krishna Mataji, the last one that you explained was really, really helpful. So it is like we clean our mind. We see ourselves as a detached observer for activities or thoughts, and then just tell ourselves, forget it, to kick it off my mind here. I don't want this thought. I don't want to do it. Is that how you mean? I mean, is that
cleansing of the mirror? Yes. Yeah. So there will be procedures and methods that you will follow. For example, chanting, right? So how do you remove dust from something, right? The dusting process is like, if there's a rug and it's full of dust, you take it outside and you beat it with a stick, right? So vibrations, then the rug will start to vibrate and the dust particles fall down, right? Like that. So similarly, we have to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So it goes into the heart, and the mind is there in the heart, right? So Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So that's when the transcendental sound vibrations go into the heart, and then they go and start vibrating your heart, that is when the dust from the mind will fall off. So that is, you have a practice. You should always have a sadhana practice, that I recite verses from Bhagavad Gita, I go and attend the classes, I chant my rounds, and then in order to stay, like there's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which says that Parthivat daruno dhumas tasmat agni trayimaya tamastastu rajas tasmat sattvam yad brahma darshanam. So it says, it's giving an example. It says that wood is better than earth, right? Because from wood, you can do certain things. You can cook food, right? You can do a yajna. But it's saying that, but better than wood is fire. Because you need to have fire to be able to do yajna, right? For the Lord. Similarly, they are making a comparison and they're saying similarly, the mode of ignorance is, okay, it is there. But better than ignorance is passion. And better than passion is mode of goodness. And why? Because you have to come to the stage of goodness to be able to realize the transcendental. So you have to go through that phase. So sattvam yad brahma darshanam. So you go to the mode of goodness. So now the practice will be that, how do I go to the mode of goodness? I'll go to the mode of goodness by following the 4 regulative principles. So it's a whole package that you have to follow, because the dirt is not easy dirt. It has been there from times immemorial, so long that we call it as eternal. We don't know. And we should not even bother with questions like, how long does it take? How long have you done? How many births did I have? How many births did you have before? It doesn't matter. Here we are. The idea is, how do I get out of this place? And what is this practice that I should follow to get out? And so, take to Krishna consciousness. And then, it's not just the self-realization. When you realize that you are the self and you get into that. So, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. That the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita told you all that, right? It rejoices, it's beyond the miseries, it's never deviated, it's happy, nobody can do anything to them. But then what happens? Right? Brahma Bhuta, Krishna is telling in the 18th chapter, he's saying, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. That's fine, Then doesn't lament, doesn't desire anything material, right? Then what does it do? Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. What does it do in the end? Mat bhaktim labde param. It starts doing devotional service to the Lord because it understands the sambandha, what is my relationship with God. So just self-realization is not enough. Just to see with your pure mind, just to see the soul is not enough. You also have to understand that the soul has got a duty, soul has been assigned a role, and that is to do loving devotional service to the Lord. And that is what I should do. And so that is why we start practicing it here in this life nicely, so that we will do it nicely there in that other world also, in Golok Vrindavan, where we are all headed.
Mataji, one more thing. Thank you so much. That was so great explanation. It's just getting into the head to do what we are supposed to do. Thank you so much. And so question, like some devotees are initiated and I am not. I'm not able to attend all the classes also. So if they are not initiated, does it mean, does it make a difference for the people to do this realization, Sabandh Gnan, doing all this, if they are initiated versus not initiated, Mataji?
Yeah, it's kind of like a question on, if I don't go to school at all, how will I perform in life, right? So there are people who don't go to school, right? But they are excellent in their work. I mean, thanks to, kind of education that we get in school, it's completely material. And any case not applicable to your job in most of the cases, because you end up doing something very different from what you studied in school, right? So can people, have people gone back to Godhead who were not initiated? The answer is yes. People have done that, right? But then why should we say you should be initiated? That is because as you are pursuing devotional service, you will have questions. And you will need a teacher to tell you the right answers. You need guidance. We all need guidance. So it is better to have a teacher who will guide us, one person to whom we can go for guidance, and one person who can always also tell us that you are going wrong. For example, Raja Bharat was there all alone in the forest. And there was nobody to tell him that, look here, buddy, you gave up your kingdom, you left your beautiful young wife, you left your beautiful young boys, and you have come here to the forest with the purpose of dedicating yourself to Krishna, and you were doing that. And now suddenly out of nowhere, this little deer has come. What are you doing? Throwing away your devotional service, intentional neglect. If he had a spiritual master, he would have told him, he would have chastised him actually, scolded him very nicely. What are you doing? Like that. So we all need guidance. And the funny thing is that, and this is how the mind works. This is how the mind is, our mind is, that we will put our kids at the age of 2.5 or 3 into preschool, and then school, and then more school, and then middle school, and then high school, and then college, and then research work, and then continued education. So we need so much of education. We need teachers of all kinds and shapes in our life to understand this material world. But we say, when it comes to transcendental, I will figure it out myself. I don't need a teacher. So what kind of a logic is that, right? Transcendental is more difficult. Yeah.
Mataji, one more thing.
In the purports of Bhagavad Gita, I read, which was like an eye-opener. It was mentioned that we cannot understand this confidential knowledge directly by our own endeavors. We have to understand it from our spiritual master. So that was very important.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And by reading by itself, I don't think we can get where we have tried. I mean, I've tried studying Gita from different authors before I joined here with Mataji and Krishna Consciousness, but I'm not initiated, but I'm trying to learn very hard. The last question, Mataji, for this evening from me, that the reading that we did today, it is chapter 3, but is it from somewhere else, or is it, where is that nice one that we have? It's very, very nice.
Yeah, the whole book is very nice. And it's the Bhakti Vrksa. So it's a book prepared by ISKCON for people. Bhakti Vrksa is, like how you meet together in someone's home and discuss topics, not going very deep into the Shastras, So we were doing this, and I kind of joined. This was organized by Khyati Mataji, and she had a very strong desire to, use her home and for preaching purposes, and she has been doing, very consistently and very nicely. And so they had a teacher who moved away to a different city. So she asked me to step in and can you just, facilitate these classes. So I said, okay, I'll do that. So I started from chapter 13, and then we finished the whole book. And then I had opened the thought to the team members here that what do you want to do? Do you want to go back and do from first chapter to 12? And that way we can say we have completed the book, or if you want to pick up another book, we can just do that. The idea was to get together and do devotee association, right? That's important for progress in devotional service. So obviously this group has done 13 to 26 or 29, as many chapters are there in that book. So you all are at a much higher level than what the content can be. But then you also see that these scriptures and all these scriptural writings are like an ocean.
Right.
It's entirely up to you. If you just go in a boat and put your hand inside the sea and try to catch something, maybe you will find an empty Coca-Cola bottle at best, right? But if you really dive deep inside the sea, then you will find pearls. And the same thing happens with literature also, right?
So is there a book in there, Mataji? Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, there's a book in there, but we don't just let it, out.
No, what I meant is when we go to Veda thing, and then there are books. Is this book in there too?
Yes, there's a book in there, and we will, we give you a chapter of the book, print out of the book. Like that. So once this coronavirus goes away, so Charu Mataji, you have to come.
Yes, Mataji. I've been, you know how that is. Yes, this is a very, very good. I really liked it. It's like,
and we have to make voluntary lifestyle changes, because otherwise you won't even know, the whole life will be gone. And in the end, we'll have regret, like, why did not make the chances? And this is not something about voluntary lifestyle changes that we are talking only in terms of devotional service. We make voluntary lifestyle changes even in our material life. If you want to pick up a hobby, if you want to take 10 cooking classes on how to bake a cake, right? At that time, you will adjust your schedule. You will adjust your work schedule. You will talk to your boss, and you will sneak in here and there, and you'll say, big deal, it's just 10 classes, and you will adjust it, right? The thing is that why we don't want to adjust our schedule for devotional services, we don't have the taste for it, right? And so developing a taste, ruchi, is actually at a very high level in the ladder of devotional service and the progress of devotional service. It comes at a later stage, but it comes. It'll come. When you reach that stage, we will have to tell you. And I can vouch for that. And Khyati Mataji and others who joined the morning Bhagavad Gita class can tell. I have to literally tell now, go away. You have to go and work. You're sitting here discussing Bhagavad Gita. You might be missing your meetings. Why? They have a taste for discussing Bhagavad Gita. The taste has developed. They've come to that stage like that, right? So
Mataji, I would like to read out that lines from the purport which I mentioned, because I was not able to tell properly. It is chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, the last verse. In the purport, it is mentioned, only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.23.
Yeah. Prakashante Mahatmanaha Yasya Deve Bhakti Yasya Deve Prakagaro. For those who have implicit faith in the scriptures and also in the spiritual master, then only will you know. Thank you so much, for bringing in scriptural evidence.
That makes a big difference, Mataji. When we speak with other people in general, I meet with clients in a different basis. But when I remember a verse, and then if I speak something related to that, I really like it. I mean that's an evidence of our Bhagavad Gita,
That's an evidence of Bhagavad Gita, of course, that the fact that it is strong, and it is also an evidence that you have a taste.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. So don't put yourself in the bucket of, I don't have taste, and like that. Yeah.
Yes. I guess this morning only somebody sent me on WhatsApp who are not devotees. So I went back and I quoted 1816. And I said, this is where it is, because they kind of related something to that point, layman's language, photo or something, and I went to our Gita and said, okay, so this is, I really like it. I'm really happy that Mataji, you are explaining in such a good way, and we are really, really thankful to Krishna, and I really appreciate this all. That I feel really fortunate. The other day I was telling Vaisheshika Prabhu the same thing, and we are really fortunate.
Yeah,
And
and because it's coming from the parampara, and that is why we have to be grateful about the parampara also. And this concept of parampara is not new to India, at least. And I'm pretty sure I've not researched much in here, but I'm sure it must be there. Like there used to be a room where people would put pictures of all their ancestors, right? So they're saying, I am this, and my father is this, and my grandfather is this, and this is my great-grandfather, and my great-great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather. And from them, we have learned this art of jewelry making, and we are jewelers, like that, right? So it's being passed down to parampara. And so somebody at some point in time, learned it from Krishna. So whatever we learn, whatever we speak, I owe it to all the previous generations. And of course, so many devotees who are here and who are speaking and writing books and things like that, that I'm able to speak, because it is not coming from me at all.
Right.
Yeah, it comes from the parampara. So whatever thanks that you are giving to me, I'm just giving it back up to the parampara.
But Mataji, you have digested this knowledge and put in front of us like a ready-made to go. So that is your brain, your intellect that we used it.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that point about digestion. And so there's a very nice example that Vaisheshika Prabhu quotes, and he applies it for mantras, but I'm pretty sure it applies to everything. And so he was saying that if you go to a banyan tree, right? So in a banyan tree, if you take a seed of a banyan tree and if you plant it in the ground and wait for it to sprout, it will never sprout. Right? What happens is that when the seed is there from the banyan tree, so wherever the banyan trees grow, there will be birds, etc. Right? So the birds who are there in the surrounding the banyan tree, when the seed falls to the ground, the bird picks up the seed, eats it, and inside the stomach there are some enzymes which are there, which will sort of start to digest the seed, but not enough. It won't become a pulp or something. It'll just remove some of the top hard covering from the seed. And then the bird will push it out of its body, right? Evacuated, ejected. And then now this seed, when it goes inside the ground, the hard covering has been removed, and then it'll sprout. So that's the way it has to be. So similarly, knowledge and mantras have to come from the mouth of a spiritual master, and who is a devotee of the Lord, because there are hundreds of spiritual masters outside claiming to be spiritual masters, right? And you go there and you come back cheated of your money, your fame, shame, whatever, like that. So we have to be careful also about who you are taking as your guru. And Prabhupada was very vocal about it. So yes. So again, the guru has got powers of giving you his mercy.
Yes, we need your mercy, Mataji. Lot of mercy to get this through this ocean of life and death, this life.
Absolutely, we're all instruments of Krishna's plan. We are just working on Krishna's plan, and so it has to be from both the sides, right?
Yes,
we are there, we are speaking, we are announcing, we are making things available, we have a website, we have all those things, we are making things available to you. You have to make a voluntary lifestyle change, a small lifestyle change, like that.
6:30 in the morning, Mataji. How can I? That part I really want to be there every morning.
So that's a good thing. That one, the desire is there, right? If the desire is there, then Krishna will help you in that. And your voluntary lifestyle change should be, and it happened. Some of those coming in the team will be able to tell you that some of them had difficulty coming in. They made a small lifestyle change, and they are there. They are the first ones to come and join the meeting. How do you get up at 6:30 in the morning? Just as all the others get up at 6:30 in the morning and come to the class. There's nothing special over there to be done. Just sleep early. If sleep doesn't come, get into the bed. It will come. If still not coming, start reading. Open Ishopanishad. It will put you to sleep. Start chanting. It will put you to sleep, right? Because whenever we chant, we want to sleep, right? So use it to your advantage, right?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mataji, I wanted to know, you are reading Bhagavatam with everyone daily?
No. Bhagavatam we read at 3:30 in the 4 o'clock in the evening, only on Fridays. We read Bhagavad Gita.
In the morning?
In the morning at 6:30 to 7:30, like that.
Okay. And Friday, 4 o'clock is Bhagavatam.
Yeah. And all these things are there in the website, and I'm just posting the link to the website on the chat group here. And it's also on the WhatsApp group, so maybe so you can look at that. Yeah. Okay, all of you who are joining us on the Facebook, thank you so much for coming and joining this call. My Danvat pranams to all of you, and Rakesh, our brother-in-law Pramod ji is also there watching us from India. So is Rinku from Atlanta, and Kishore Kumar Prabhu, Dada Vallabh Prabhu, please accept my obeisances, Prasanna Prabhu, and Sophie Mataji. It's always a delight to have you on my calls here. Hare Krishna. So we should really call it a day now.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for the wonderful explanation.
You are very, very welcome. We take the feedback from the students, and that they makes us, speak. So it's a mutual thing. You can't speak to pillars and stone walls like that, right?
Yes. Thank you to all the participants too, that they ask questions and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. They make it the live studio, and then it goes on to Facebook over there. It's like Vaisheshika Prabhu's vision was always there, that you get together and then you broadcast to the whole world. Yeah.
Yeah. Mataji, one of my students, she wrote back recently. She told me these days schools are closed. So she says, she told me, Miss, you had once mentioned in the class that I wouldn't have been a teacher if you students were not there in the school. So, so she said, nowadays we are not in the school, Miss, how to manage. So I was remembering you, so she wrote to me. On Mother's Day, she mentioned.
That's very sweet of her. Yeah. So, yeah, there we are. Okay. So we'll meet again tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So from now till then, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Patitanam
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Gopremanande.
Vaishnavrim
Hari Hari
ki
Bol.
jai.
Everybody, give me a Hari Bol on
Hari
Zoom
Bol.
as well as on Facebook. If you're watching, just type
Thank
Hari
you,
Bol.
Shraddha Ma.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Budi Radhika.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Good. What's cooking? Kathy, what's cooking in that kitchen? I missed that.
Caught her.
Yeah, Mataji, just khichdi and vada, keda vada.
Vada. Rakesh, vada. Let's go. We're coming.
I'm not making chole puri until Rakesh Prabhu is coming home. We are
okay. Wow.
I can come now. Pick up.
Very good. Okay. Enjoy. Have a wonderful rest of the Saturday, and tomorrow is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Ma.
So tomorrow morning, 6:30, we have a class. Sunday morning.
You don't want to
Yes.
Yes. Tomorrow,
okay.
Sunday, we have a class. It's a shorter class. It's about 35 minutes, but we still get together because we don't want to get out of practice.
Okay.
Sadhana Bhakti. We are practicing how to do Bhakti, so we do it every day. Krishna
Thank
will
you.
do that.
Thank you again.
All right. Okay. Go Premanande.